and blow. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. Hello and welcome to Rewind with James Kilbane. Thanks for joining us. Today I have a special guest, Larissa Tormey, who's going to tell us about her life, music and faith. Welcome to the program, Larissa. It's great having you.
Thank you so very much to have me, James.
Yes, Larissa, you've had an amazing life, and it all started back in the old Soviet Union. Tell us a little bit about the beginning.
The beginning, I was growing up in the small republic within Russian Federation. The name of republic, I don't know if anybody can pronounce, Bashkortostan. It's a Muslim community, but like nobody was practicing any sort of religion.
And what's the mountain range or?
Ural Mountain
region.
The
Ural Mountains. And you were telling me that both your parents worked in forestry?
Yeah, both of them were professional foresters. So I was growing up actually in the middle of big pine forest, because my father was kind of looking after a piece of forest, and our little house was in the middle of it. So until I was 12, I spent all my time in the forest, walking during the winter on the skis, singing my songs. That's why I started to sing and write poems, like surrounded by all the lovely nature and all the.
And your dad was Muslim and your mum was a Christian.
We're talking about backgrounds now, because
yes.
At that time we all was one big nation, Soviet Union. Nobody practiced anything. My father was from Muslim background. His parents actually were Quran teachers, but they passed away during the Second World War when he was only 7, and he was raised in orphanage by communists.
Okay.
So he was complete atheist. He never practiced anything.
Okay.
Mom was from Belarus, raised in Christian religion, I suppose, and she was practicing silently.
Quietly.
Privately. Yeah, that nobody really knew about it. Even that, she wouldn't do it in front of that.
Okay. And growing up in those days, was it a happy home? How many in family had you?
I have 2 brothers, and was very, very happy childhood. So the thing about it, I wasn't in any big city, and we wasn't anybody very powerful in Soviet Union. We lived in the forests, and everybody had the same wages, the same level of life, no mortgages, no financial problems, just live. And the positive person as I am of that life was that because you couldn't have really anything, you focus your attention mostly on something else, and that something else was art. So art was huge.
Art was huge and culture was huge in that side of it.
Yep.
And in that then, how was the music, any musical influences as you were growing up in your early youth? Like school or at home? What were the influences?
Well, I went to music school anyway when I was 6 years old. I was asking Mom to bring me to music school since I started to talk. I got my piano at 7. I wrote my first song when I saw my piano, about piano. Great excitement. I went to music school, and I was 7 years in music school. It was separate from the normal. So you go to normal school first in the morning, and then music school in the afternoon.
And you spoke 3 languages as well. Was there 3 languages in your
3, very international family, because father's first language he was a Tatar. That's the nationality within Russia, very like Turkish people. So that was his first language. And the mom was from Belarus. She spoke Belarusian language. They didn't speak Russian until they entered the colleges. In colleges, they had to study in Russian. So when they met, kind of the Russian wasn't that great. So there was 3 languages in the house. Russian was main language because that everybody understood.
And your dad bought something about a record player or something that your family would, you told me a story about.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
He was very advanced in our village, the first person to buy anything new in Turkey, okay? So he bought this record player and he was just mad about music recordings. And he created this system that he would record us as a family once a year. and keep the records. So since I was 3.5, we started to record. So it would be my brother singing me, my mom, duets, read the poems. So that's what we were doing. Dad played accordion as well.
So then you moved on from that profile, that age time, to second level. What would that have been like? What was
At school, you mean?
Yes, in school.
10 years at school, I finished music school, and I
So that was music school, and were you involved in choirs, or how was it there?
Yeah, of course, it was big. Music scene was big in Russia of that time because everything was free. So every child was kind of encouraged to enter some sort of art thing. So you can sing solo, you can get lessons.
And were you?
I was a solo singer in the choir. I was the main singer in the choir at school.
Wonderful.
If God will let me live another year, I start to hug you 100 times a day. I'll stay around, I'll never go away. I'll save you every moment when you're near. If God will let me live another year. If God will let me live another day, I'll start to think before I drop the word. I will be conscious that my words can hurt. I'll find time to meditate and pray. If God will let me live another day. If God will let me live another hour, I'll watch the stars and tell you I'm in love. This love so huge, it's like the skies above. I'll hear the birds and I will smell the flowers. If God will let me live another hour, I'll hear the birds and I will smell the flowers. If God will let me live another year, if God will let me live another day, if God will let me live another hour.
When you were a teenager, were you an atheist?
A complete atheist. We had a kind of small organization for children pioneers, which is part of Communistic Party. So each school had it. We were all part of it, very much brainwashed that there's no God exists. It's all fairy tales, and you shouldn't go to church. It's only old people.
So this
go.
That's
the way I was growing up. Yep.
Through the school.
Yeah.
So you were choir conducting. So a lot of your music was the classical music of Bach and Beethoven and all of these, who wrote a lot of Christian music in what they did. But you did that in your college, but could you bring that into a church?
Not really, no. I really...
Was there something happened with another course member?
Well, you see, because it was choir conducting a course, we of course had a choir, and we of course sang church music because it was the part of the heritage, classical music, in the college. But we wasn't allowed to join the church choirs. For that, you would be really punished. Spirituality was completely separated from meaning of that music. was separated from what we were studying. Like we studied the music itself, but what it was about, nobody actually told us. It wasn't kind of...
The spiritual side of it was disconnected.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a striking story. So then, towards the end, or just as you had somewhat of a conversion, something, there was a calling for you in that period of time, as you were, or after you just finished college, you were baptized.
I made a conscious decision myself to go and get baptized. I need to connect to something. I need a protection, you know? So because St. Petersburg is full of beautiful churches, I started to kind of call to churches and listen to music, choir music, and there look at icons. And then I said, I need to get that protection. I need to go and baptize. And I went anyway, and I got baptized in my mid-20s. And then I already started to sing publicly that time. I was taking part in the music competition in St. Petersburg. And after the concert final, I actually won it, but I was coming back to my campus. It was night, late night, winter time, and I was attacked. I was actually walking. I was nearly nearly the campus already, and it was absolutely starry, beautiful night. I looked at the skies and I said, "Is that beautiful? Must be angels somewhere here beside me." And next thing, somebody hit me from behind, full swing. So the guy attacked me and he took my stuff, whatever was in my hands, and I had in there all my documents. Passport to fly back home next day to my mommy, and all my music I was performing, I paid for that. So I actually stopped him and I said, "Can you please give me that bag?" And we started to talk, and then I was looking around. I said, "The entrance only in here, so will I just run away?" And I pulled the bag out of him. I ran and I slept and I fell on the ground. It was very sleepy, cold.
You were concussed.
Yeah, and he just reached me and he started to kick me with his boots into my face. So I lost consciousness. I don't remember what happened. I just briefly remember that it was late, you see. I'd say he would kill me, but because he was trying to drag me somewhere into the dark place. But somebody was there, somebody was passing by, and he got frightened and he just left me and ran away. So there was lying, actually there was a poster with my name on it, all in blood. I think I still have it somewhere. And all my face was smashed, my nose, my teeth out, and like I was completely all in blood and broken.
But you felt that you were protected that night, that
I
you
didn't feel
die.
at that particular moment, you know, because I felt it's that funny the way it happened. I just was thinking about some angels and stuff, and next thing this happened to me. But when I walked into the campus and everybody like, "Oh, what happened to you?" And they started to call police. And then I said, "Can I ring my mom? Can I ring my mom?" And I picked up the phone and I called her and I said to her, "Mom, that's what happened to me. I was attacked." And she was listening to me quietly and she said to me, "The most important, Larissa, you're still alive. God saved you. Everything else will heal," she said. "You're alive.
And God
Just
saved you.
get yourself back home," she said. "You will be fine."
So Larissa, you recovered. You were shaken. You got help. You took your mother's advice, go home. And you did go home. And then your recording career started to develop back home in the Ural Mountains and in that region.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. How did that...
It went really well because I was well known already, kind of, because I started to sing before. So I recorded, I had 2 albums. I only was singing my own music. And I was actually writing for other singers as well. So my music is still on the radios in Russia, still.
With other artists?
Yeah,
good.
It's still there. But so it was 2 albums. One of them was in Russian language, and then I recorded full album and wrote the songs in Tatar language, which is like Turkish for my dad,
Yes.
dedicated to my dad.
Okay.
So
and then you wanted to make it bigger. So
Yeah.
like even here, we'd go to London or go to New
That's
York or
right.
Los Angeles. People had looked Nashville for country music. You went to Moscow.
Same story. Yeah, perestroika happened. Things were changing in Russia of that time, and I decided to take a very risky step, leave everything. I was very well known. I had a good career, in fairness, in there, but I wanted more. So I said, if I move to Moscow, it will be easier for me to be more known all over the Soviet Union, not only in my republic. keeping company with someone that I love. He's somebody special that I can't stop thinking of. I want to be right with him, and he tells me I can, when the big man's holding on to my hand. And when I cross over Jordan, over to that golden shore, I know he'll be waiting there to love me that much more. No, he don't make no footprints when we walk through the sand, but the big man's holding on to my hand. I talk to him daily, 'cause we always stay in touch. He's right there when I need him, and I need him oh so much. I'd love to be more faithful and devoted than I am, 'cause the big man holding on to my hand. And when I cross over Jordan, over to that golden shore, I know he'll be waiting there to love me that much more. No, he don't make no footprints when we walk through the sand, but the big man's holding on to my hand. No, he don't make no footprints when we walk through the sand, but the big man's holding on to my hand. Yes, the big man's holding on to my hand.
Larissa, you have had a huge amount of experience, you know, and I think a lot of our viewers in this country who are familiar with you might not actually realize the amount. They will now after watching you and listening to you. Now, we always ask young people and not so young people who might want to record, who might want to do mainstream, but maybe feel a calling for some ministry work as well in the recording and music. What a good advice have you for them?
Well, the very first advice, okay? Very first, if you think about it only as a business, you better give up right now, because the most important thing in music to enjoy it, like enjoyment of everything you do, because it shines through your music, through your art. When you enjoy it, you give it to people. Mm-hmm. So, and express yourself through the music, people will connect. That's the very important point first. Secondly, because everything changes so fast, and in life it does, as you see from my own experience constantly, just keep going and learn and never give up. Very important to learn new things and just be positive whatever happens and continue. And through lockdown and that, you developed kind of podcasts and social media on a YouTube page. How'd you find that? Have you been training or developing things? No, I learned actually. I learned to do everything myself, to edit the videos and go into YouTube to create this program. I just was so tired of advertising myself.
Okay.
So I said, well, everybody at home, will I help other people? And I decided to interview other musicians and give them platform, because I have a very big following. Why don't use it? So that kept me occupied. And then it gave me amazing opportunity to meet amazing musicians throughout the world. I can still continue it. People can watch it, my music and my story, because I have a story, and I think everybody every one of us has amazing story. If you learn to listen, it's very important to be able to listen, because it's so fast now, nobody really listening to anybody. So this is very precious, I think.
And part of the program, a prayer, is there a prayer or something? Because you've had the experience of being atheist. You've gone through the Soviet Union, you've communism, you've come out from there, you've had a conversion in and along your journey, and it continues here in Ireland. Do you pray, and is there anything in particular that's in your memory that holds to you as a prayer in your life? Have you any story for us?
I have a story connected with my mom as well, because when I left to go to college, we never talk about religion with mom. It wasn't in our family at all. And she said, I want to give you something. And she wrote the prayer on the piece of paper, Our Father. And that's the first prayer. And she said, Larissa, if you learn that, that will protect you everywhere. You have to memorize that. And anything happens in your life, just say this prayer and it will protect you.
And had your mom, had she devotions? Was she?
I don't know, James.
Okay.
We wasn't really talking about this,
Right.
but she gave me this prayer, and
Our
then
Father.
before she passed away, both of my parents gone now, she was praying constantly to Mother Mary. She had always little book of prayers beside her bed. So she was praying. I didn't know about that. So you asked me, do I pray? I don't start my day without praying. Every single day I find if I miss that, my day doesn't go quite well and smooth. So I'm a very controlling person. I like everything perfect. So I pray, and then I said to God, you lead me today.
Could you maybe, is there the prayer of your choice? Would you recite it in your native language?
In Russian language. Well, I give you the Our Father, will I?
If you're comfortable to
Okay.
do so.
Отче наш, иже еси на небесех, да светится имя Твое, да придет царствие Твое, да будет воля Твоя, яко на небеси и на земли. Хлеб наш насущный дашь нам днесь, и остави нам долги наши, яко же мы оставляем должником нашим, и не введи нас в искушение, и избави нас от лукавого. Господи, помилуй.
Amen. Larissa, as part of the program, we have this little blue book, and we hope to record have a song written, composed.
Oh.
And if you'd be kind enough to include what God means to you in just a little line in your own time, and we'll take it off you before you leave.
Ah, that's an amazing idea.
So,
Be pleased to do something like that.
well, Larissa, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real treat, and I really do believe people will be inspired by your story. Thank you.
Hopefully. Thank you so very much. God
Thanks,
bless.
Larissa. To you at home, folks, thank you all for joining us. And make sure to come back for our next episode of Rewind with James Kilbane. But till then, take care. God bless you all. Bye for now. Shalom.
And you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
Are you searching for answers? Discover your true identity. Stay tuned to Shalom World.